Mr. Raskin for his opening statement.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, and thank you to the ranking member of the subcommittee, Mr. Nadler, and thank you to my colleague, Chairman Jordan, and thanks to all of our witnesses for being here with us today. I was surprised to hear my friend from Ohio talking about a transgender comic book from I can't remember which country, but if there's a form of government expenditure taking place that we have a problem with, isn't that why the Congressional oversight function exists? Don't we have a whole oversight committee, which you serve on, which I've served on, which can do that? Do we really need to hire a fourth branch of government called Elon Musk to go out and do it for us? We're about to enter into a budget process right now. We can deal with it ourselves. Mr. Chairman, the last 22 days, Donald Trump's billionaire government has taken a wrecking ball to public institutions and the rule of law in America. The agent of the chaos is Elon Musk, a, quote, special government employee purportedly working on technological reform. More crucially, he's a big businessman whose floundering Tesla sales in Europe create huge financial pressures for him, according to the business press. Even more crucially, he's a government contractor who collects billions of federal taxpayer dollars every single year and yet has not filed a single employee ethics disclosure form as required by law. He has access not only to computers controlling his own billion-dollar payments from us, the people, but to computers containing his contractor rivals' contract bids, their contracts, their invoices, and their payment systems. Yet he has not shown us a single conflict of interest waiver form for these multiple egregious apparent conflicts of interest. He and his mutant teenage racist computer hackers have taken possession of financial payment systems at the United States Department of Treasury, meaning data access to the private financial records of every American citizen, every member of Congress, every federal prosecutor, every regulator who's supposed to be looking at what his business does, every private lawyer and every federal judge who they're now calling for the impeachment of because they dare to speak up for the rule of law. What could go wrong with this situation? Fortunately, we do still have an Article 3, a working federal judiciary, which has issued no fewer than 12 injunctions in 3 weeks. 12 temporary restraining orders or preliminary injunctions in 3 weeks against the illegality of this arrangement, including an injunction against any further unlawful seizure, possession, and corruption of Americans' private financial data. Now, the Elon Musk cyber raid against our data and privacy infrastructure has set the stage for the administration's outrageous and unprecedented violation of congressional lawmaking and spending power. That's what the first hearing of this subcommittee should be about, Mr. Chairman, the blatantly illegal and quickly reversed freeze on billions of dollars in federal grants already appropriated by the United States Congress, programmed by the agencies, contracted for by government lawyers, and in the proper pipeline for payment. The flagrantly illegal efforts to not pay federal workers and honor our contracts for work already rendered, to condition federal funds on totally made-up restrictions never voted on, much less approved by Congress, and the scandalous effort to dismantle and neutralize entire federal agencies like NOAA, USAID, and the CFPB, spitting in the face of congressional power enactments and appropriations. An Appropriations Act is a federal law, like any other law. Like the law, for example, against violently assaulting federal police officers. An Appropriations Act is not a recommendation or a bargaining maneuver with the executive branch. It is a law. It must be enforced. This administration needs a constitutional refresher course, Mr. Chairman. The preamble of the Constitution says, we the people, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and preserve to ourselves and our posterity the blessings of liberty, do hereby ordain and establish the Constitution of these United States. And the very next sentence of the Constitution establishes in Article 1 the Congress of the United States possessing all of the legislative power. Some of my colleagues have taken to saying we're three co-equal branches. I beg to differ. We're not three co-equal branches. Not at all. First of all, co-equal is not even a word, right? That's like extremely unique. It doesn't mean anything. So they're saying three equal branches. I don't think so. Read James Madison, the Federalist Papers. Congress is the predominant branch. Congress is the lawmaking branch. It's Congress. Check out Article 1, Section 8. All of the powers we have to regulate commerce domestically and internationally, to pass the budget, to appropriate money. Congress does that. And then Article 1, Section 8, Clause 18, and all other powers necessary and proper to the execution of the foregoing powers. And after all of that, you get to 4 short paragraphs in Article 2. My friend Mr. Jordan has been quoting the first sentence all over TV. He thinks that he somehow has a knockout argument. He says, the executive power shall be vested in a president of the United States of America. Yes, indeed, Mr. Jordan, that's where the executive power is vested. But what is the executive power? The core responsibility of the president of the United States is to take care that the laws are faithfully executed, right? Not defied, not violated, not trashed, not rewritten, to take care that the laws are faithfully executed, which is precisely what's not happening today. As they say, oh, well, Elon Musk, he's got all the power of the president. Donald Trump himself could not be doing what Elon Musk is doing in Washington today. He can't evaporate AID. He can't nullify the CFPB. He can't destroy an agency set up by us on a bipartisan basis in Congress. Nobody in the executive branch has that. Yeah, the president is on top of the executive branch, but we're the lawmaking power. And who sorts out the conflict if there's a conflict? The courts do. And what have the courts been saying? They've said a dozen times in 3 weeks that they're violating the Constitution of the United States and the laws passed by Congress. That's what's going on in America today. That's what we should be having a hearing about, not some airy academic conversation about the administrative state, whatever they mean by that. I yield back, Mr. Chairman.
Back. Now recognize the chairman of the full committee, Mr. Jordan, for 5
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ms. Wade was making this point earlier. I thought it was well stated, talking in a broad sense. To lead the world diplomatically, to lead the world militarily, you first have to lead the world economically. And to lead the world economically, you need some basic things. You need readily available energy at affordable cost, and you need freedom. That's Mrs. Wade's point. And you know what? We had a lot more freedom when that chart that Mr. Smith just put up there was a lot lower in regulations, which would help people like Ms. Wade and Mr. Smith, the entrepreneurs who make our economy go and go and go, be able to do their thing. Ms. Wade, you wanted to respond to one of the Democrats. I forget who was asking or saying something. You wanted to respond. I'm going to give you a chance to respond, then I'm going to go to our economists and to Mr. Smith. Hit your microphone, because.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
Thank you so much. I want to respond 2 things. Mr. Garcia is gone, but I wish he was here, and same with Mr. Correa, I think it was. So I'll start with Mr. Garcia when he brought up, oh, these prosper, these zones she wants in here, no space for them here in America. Well, guess what? It is going to happen in America. And that article that you brought up, you know, foreign policy, I just would like the same way that article is going to be included, I would like for the FAQ that I'm going to send you to be included in there as well, so we can refute all those claims that are made in articles like that. If anything, these zones were put in place by the government of Honduras itself in this situation. Government of Honduras. And if anything, we know by now that organizations like the USAID, funding NGOs, have been actually undermining this type of initiatives because these are anti-business NGOs. So USAID hurting us, there you go. And then Mr. Correa, who is not here, I wish he was here when he had the nerves to tell us that these regulations are here to help us. I just would like for him to answer me to this situation. Around the 1800s, since the 1800s, it was known that lead pipes that were being used for, that we were using were toxic, bad, causing probably brain damages in children. As early as 1800, it was known. Then you tell me why is it that it took until 1986 for it to be taken care of. In the meantime, you had the mayor of Chicago who made it mandatory for builders to use lead pipes for the water pipes. Where did government really help us here? Where? I wish Mr. Correa was here. Government is helping us. These regulations are helping us. Give me a break. And I see you looking at each other like this. I will send you my report on this, Mr. Raskin. So thank you so much for giving me that opportunity to respond, because it irks me when I see us sitting in these rooms and when I hear your fights. I don't hear government working for the people. I see government working for government, whatever the heck that sounds like, okay? And I would like, for one, that it is about my safety and about my well-being. And in situations like this, and in as many others like that, it is clear that these regulations are not put in place with us in mind. And that needs to stop. And the fact that, Mr. Raskin, you're here this whole time we've been here, you've just been complaining about the process. I'll call it a process. And again, I'm not disagreeing with your issues right now around Musk and the process that's following Mr. Vladek, the process that you're following. At some point, what is the end game? Isn't the end game to make us, the American people, better off? Isn't it? Isn't it? No, I hear you saying that the stuff that would make us better off doesn't matter. All you care about right now is the process of Musk and his associates are not doing this the right way. Is the goal moral and right or not? If you say it is, as I think you should be saying, then the fight shouldn't be about, we need to take Musk down or Trump down. Let us rethink that if you want, but keep your eye on the ball, and your ball should be me. It should be me. I'm sorry, it should be me. Yeah. It should be me. How do we make me better off? Thank you, Mr. Jordan.
You bet, and by me, you mean the American people.
That's what I mean by that.
Dr. McLaughlin, and we